Good morning, YouTube. My last cup of coffee. I thought, I'm going to be strong and I'm just going to give up that one too. No, because apparently a part of me hasn't been convinced yet until tomorrow morning when it starts crying. But I think I just want to make the mind change. I don't. When you want to quit something doing something that is very bad for your health or your psyche or whatever it is, you have to make up your mind that when you do it, you're not missing anything. Like you have to come to the conclusion and believe it on that day and forevermore that this is harming you and that you're in control and that the unpleasant sensations that you have because you want this thing are just not that big of a deal. You need to just look at it and say, like, be ready. Be ready to say, those sensations are going to come, and I'm going to have to make a decision every single time they come. And I guess the best, I've quit smoking cigarettes, and I've quit smoking multiple times until my final time was about 20 years ago. And every time I did quit, and I would quit for large periods of time, years at a time. So, there's nothing, it's okay. So you went back, Karen. So I still spent many, many years not a cigarette smoker when I could have just smoked straight through and never tried to quit. I've quit multiple times and spent many years not smoking. And then years in between smoking sometimes. So people, when they get tired, there goes Joe. Good morning, Joe. I don't know where he goes so early. He probably goes out to buy a special cup of coffee from Starbucks. I doubt it. Anyway, when you go to quit, where was I? So instead of enjoying my cup of coffee this morning, I'm talking to YouTube about it while I'm wasting this enjoyable moment while I'm poisoning myself. I want to enjoy my poison. It's sitting there. Maybe I won't finish it. Anyway, what I'm saying is people, when they quit multiple times and then they fail, and then they finally are like, I'm just going to stop trying. Oh, I'm just going to stop trying. I think if you quit something multiple times, you really do want to stop. Unless you were doing it because your wife was badgering you, or your husband, or your mother, or or your kids. Unless you really just did it to shut them up. If you were doing this, if you quit something multiple times, like cigarettes or coffee, you really want it. I don't know. You really want to stop. So my suggestion is always try again. Always pick a new date and try again. I'm doing it because eventually I did that. I kept doing it again. I kept setting a new date. Like I would do a week. Every time I'd quit smoking, or maybe 5 days. Every time I quit smoking, I would pick a date 5 days out so that I could mentally gear up, like, okay, and then I would only smoke the cigarettes I absolutely really wanted. I wouldn't just light up out of habit because I got in the car, for instance. I would really wait until I felt an urge. I got down to like 5 cigarettes a day, and then the last couple of days it was like 2, and then it was just done. So, and that's how I did it. But I guess cigarettes weren't as big of an addiction for me as it is for other people, because I feel like, yes, it was an addiction for me and it was hard, but it wasn't as extreme as it is for other people, where I think this coffee cream agave combination for me is my extreme cigarette, the way that it is for my friend Dee or Paula. Only it's not as bad for Paula as it is for Dee, but it's pretty bad. She quit many, many times. My friend Paula's quit smoking cigarettes, and she goes back. But in times of extraordinary, outlandish stress, and then it's not, oh, I'm going to go back to a pack a day. It wasn't like that. It's like 2 or 3 cigarettes a day. And I don't think it's the end of the world, because she'll stop again. I know she will. In a few weeks, in about a month or so, when her father is laid to rest finally, and the whole... It is a nightmare narcissistic family situation that is like 80 times worse than mine. I was like, what? And she's like, I know, right? I never imagined in a million years that my life was my family was worse than your experience, but without me knowing until the end. And then she's like, and then I look back, and then it's like all these things, all these veils were dropped, and she was like, at her family, and I'm going, she needs a cigarette. And I was okay with. I'd have went out and bought her. I'd have drove from Delaware to bring her one to Maryland. To an hour and a half away, 2 hours to get to her house, if she asked me. I encourage you, if you fail at your quitting attempt, to just gather yourself for a week or 2 or 3, and then pick a day, try it again. I might fail, I might, but my goal is to not fail. Every time we quit something, our goal is to do it forever, just like our marriage vows. We're gonna do this forever, man. We're gonna till death do us part. Who is this guy anyway? Who am I? What was I? I didn't have any right to say those kinds of things at age 21. Anyway, I didn't know. I didn't know me. I most certainly didn't know him. And he didn't care. So, that was about it, man. So continue to attempt to quit if you are feeling like, man, I'll never be able to quit smoking, or I'll never be able to quit drinking, or I'll never be able to quit this thing, or I love white bread, or, you can. And you know what? I just thought of it. You could do practice days, Do a practice day. Do one day. Just be like, I'm going to quit my vice for 24 hours. And you do it, and you're like, ooh! And then you do it the next day. You're like, I did 24. You did it. You did a whole daytime and a sleep cycle. And then you do it twice. Do 2 days. Just give it a trial run. Think about it and be like, it is definitely possible. Because there was a time in your life that you did not use this substance at all, didn't even know it existed, for years and years at a time. And it did not affect you one. You didn't miss it. Growing up, the smell of morning coffee made me sick to my stomach because of what it was attached to. My mother, getting up with her black coffee, bitchin'. I think I probably wound up doing the same thing. Sorry, kids. But not the same type of bitching. A different type of bitching. A bitching they didn't want to hear, but it wasn't necessarily directed straight at them and ridiculing them into the ground. No, I didn't do that to my kids. I didn't ridicule them into the fucking ground. I bitched randomly about my own life, I think, and that was very traumatic for them. Irritating and everything else. Sorry, kids, but hey, man, there's a lot going on. It was really actually not all my fault, come to think of it. But the habit, the way that I couldn't stop the mind loop, and it was just, I think they would have a lot of compassion for me if they understood that it was like, whew. And if it wouldn't have come out of my mouth, I might have jumped off a bridge or shot someone. So I think it was a matter of releasing a whole lot, and it was not the best way, but it was the best way that my nervous system could think of at the time to prevent the body that it was controlling from killing someone or itself. So let's just give each other a break, give ourselves a break for our pasts and things that we may have done to parent our children. And call them up and be like, yo, remember all that? I'm sure you do. I am so fucking sorry about that. That was so for you. And I'm sorry. So yeah, you say this to your kids because it could change things for them. It could change things for their psyche. If they're holding a lot of shame or whatever, because you might have shamed them, right? They might be like, really? Oh my God, I totally was always wondering about that. It could heal things in your relationship you didn't know was wrong. I mean, I don't know. I just encourage everybody to have practice quit days. Why not? I cannot do any more practice days. When I go to this time, it's got to be the final time because I've done this multiple times before. And I know the drill. And because I know how I did the cigarettes, I know this can go that way. And it should. And when I get that done, we got to stop smoking that weed. I went back to that. But I went back to doing about half as much as I was doing before. So that was cool. But I can see it's interfering. It's radically interfering in my goals. It probably wouldn't be an issue if it was a couple of puffs before bed. But do I really need that? No, I don't. Not if I give this up and I'm pursuing my goals. See, I'm thinking about writing some stuff down on some paper and putting it up on the wall so I can glance at it to remind myself that animal-based eating promotes good sleep. So restorative sleep, you don't need the coffee. The coffee puts you up, then it puts you down. Then it makes you crave something else. Then you're jittery. Then you want to smoke some weed. Then you want to eat some sugar. Then you want to take a nap. Then you're up half the night. Like, let's go through the reality of what these habits are doing to us and believe ourselves, because we know it's the truth. So why do we keep doing it? I'm not quite sure. But I know that we don't need it, because when we were children, we grew up without this stuff. We didn't have this stuff. We never even thought about it. We didn't think about coffee, smoking weed, smoking a cigarette, drinking. We went through, candy, sugar, that might have been a thing. Ice cream, breads, cookies, that might have been a thing. And that was a thing for me. It was a problem. So it was the gateway drug, everyone. It wasn't pot. It was tasty cakes. Let's have a great day, YouTube. Bam. Hey, I'm looking a little less... I don't know, puffy, maybe? Because I haven't drank that lemonade in at least a week. It might have been 10 days. We got to get rid of this. We got to get back to we got to get the small lines going, not the round lines, you know what I'm saying? Let's have a great day, YouTube. Not your fucking guru and carnivore for life. Let's go. Let's have it one more day. All right. It's so cool how we're dotted. Like, I'm on the East Coast, Not your guru on the right coast. And then, Sarah, you're all the way around across the pond, and we're just like beep, 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 beep. Now, if you believe in the globe, we're all the way around. If you believe in the flat earth, we got this triangle thing. However you want to look at it, man, we got a net going now. And Sheena, you're in the net. You're in the net. You're caught. I'm sorry. You've been caught in the net, girl.